Let's do this.
Absolutely, this is to get the best position for their second group race later on today. There's the yellow flag. There's the line, and away we go then with Brady having the advantage, but they have to just back it off a little bit there, and everybody else is closing in, as you can see for yourself on the run down to the first turn. That's going to be close to contact there, and look, Blue Rising forced out wide on the outside.
Team Brady, a great start there, really held that line well. Now they're in the pole position now to try and maintain that clean water, not being caught up in all of the weight behind, which you can see the three boats behind also trying to avoid that. And this is a gap, look at that, Greg, the gap that Brady have already made for themselves.
Yeah, that is an absolutely excellent start, isn't it, for Kimiläinen there. There's Blue Rising. John Peters, who was wide of that first corner, but now carrying the momentum up towards turn 2. He's on the outside. Brazil having a lot of movement there on the front as well. Now, one of these smart marks was hit yesterday by Team Rafa. Thankfully, that's not the case so far today, as we look back then from Team Blue Rising.
All different types of boosts being used at the moment. You see the top of the screen on the graphic. You can see some like to use it on the straights, some like to use it on the exits of the corners to make up that speed they've lost, going back down on the foil, getting up on the foil, being smooth and parallel with the water, nose to the horizon, exactly what they're trying to achieve here. Speed comes from balance, and balance equals performance, and performance is race wins, Greg.
John Peters then on the boost there, as you saw, coming down to that last corner, but Kimiläinen with a very healthy advantage of 3.7 seconds, as you can see at the top of the screen, and has taken the short lap. Brazil also taking the short lap, and there's John Peters with Team Blue Rising carrying on the, for now, standard lap. Remember, they have to do one long lap and one short lap. There are 3 variations to the course. They're not allowed to do them on the opening lap. They do need to do, though, one of those throughout the 6th lap. And then, of course, we have to see where they all are, don't we, when they merge together again later on.
That short lap being a gain of about 6.4 seconds, around about that. You take off about 160 metres off of the race lap distance. So it's all about trying to get the better of your competitors. And the way they do that is almost with an undercut, overcut situation. But crucially, they have a spotter on land watching out for where the other pilots are, trying to get that strategy perfect. And as we talk about that, we have our first use of the long lap also going in for Team Alula.
Yes, and you can see at the top of the screen on the graphics who's done their short lap, who's done their long lap. There's Brady then with that healthy advantage now, of course, having done the short lap. This is a little bit, Saunders, like Danny Kloss did in one of the races back at Dubrovnik last time out, and just gives themselves some good space there up at the front. And there you go. That's exactly what you were saying, though. That's the average time you will gain by doing the short lap and lose by doing the long lap.
That long lap adding about 10 seconds to your lap time. So if you are in an advantageous position, if you are in the lead, you want to make sure you've got that 10-second buffer before taking that long lap, and that's where it gets interesting on that rejoin when the long lap comes back into the normal lap, trying to avoid the competitors.
Okay, we look down then from the drone. Your order at the moment is Brady, Brazil, Blue Rising and Alula. Alula, who stopped out on the course yesterday after having the contact with one of the smart marks. You can see the green smart marks there, and that is the long lap area. So there you go, with Brazil navigating the long lap area. The graphics will update as a result. At the moment it looks spread out, Saunders, but it's not, is it? Because they're all going to be much closer together soon when they're in the merge zone, when everyone rejoins after those longer or shorter laps. We look down now.
Kimiläinen about 20 seconds odd in the lead at the moment, but you have to remember 10 seconds of that will be lost when they use their long lap.
There's Brazil. This is the result predictor then, based on where they are at the moment and taking into consideration which of the long and short laps they have done. So look, Alula at the moment are being predicted to move ahead. I think this is going to be close, don't you?
Well, this is based on them not having done either of their long lap or short lap yet. So they're hoping that strategy has paid off, leaving them later on, leave till later on in the race. Maybe the idea of trying to get the best of that strategy, try and maximise that potential of clean water as Brady go into their long lap.
Yes, they do indeed. So we'll have to see where they are in relation to Alula, won't we, at the end of this. Brady then doing that long lap. The good thing is, though, there's nobody around them, having pulled out that nice lead, including the short lap there for Emma earlier on in the proceedings.
I think this is all pretty much wrapped up now, unless there's any change that comes from Emma Kimiläinen and that Team Brady Racebird, because that lead with the long lap now still there. It's still 10 seconds gap. It really is now going to be a mistake that cost them the victory in this race.
On board, it's a much clearer view there from the onboard camera than it is, we can tell you, from the cockpit of the Racebirds. at some points they're almost blind, aren't they? At this point they're absolutely fine, and this is the good thing about not having anyone in front of you, and this is why we keep stressing how important qualifying position is, starting position is, and the tactics as well as to when you want to take your short lap. You know, we've seen people doing long laps early in races before, but then you end up dropping into all of the traffic with the wake and the spray from everybody else. Alula then now doing their short lap.
This could be tight coming back on the rejoin, Greg.
Yeah, really tight there. They've got away with it. They have got away with it. Blue Rising haven't taken one on this occasion. So although John Peters in 4th place at the moment is some way further back, remember he was up there in 2nd place earlier on in the race. So he's going to be close to them as well once his short lap has been completed.
You think in either this lap or the next one, Team Alula needs to start thinking about doing that long lap, because they're currently just sitting in the wake of Team Brazil. Actually, Katie Munning's former teammate in E1 and Extreme E for that matter. And that's not where you want to be, because you're just getting caught up in all of that washed up water, and it just impacts your performance. So maybe we'll see Katie Munnings in that Team Alula do their long lap in the next few laps.
Yeah, and that impacts them being able to use the boost as well, doesn't it? Because they don't always want to use the boost, or they can't make best use of the boost when they are in the wake of someone else, as we move into the 6th now. And final lap, look at that advantage for Kimiläinen and Brady. That's a tremendous race so far.
Sam Coleman will be looking on in delight, because of course this sets the grid for the next race, and that's one where you have the pilot swap. He'll be in the cockpit for that race, starting in that prime lane position.
And of course they've already had a look at the orders, haven't they, in terms of what they're going to be doing in terms of which pilot they want in the boat at each time, and that is set now for the day. They will keep alternating as the day goes on. There's Blue Rising. They still need to do their short lap, and they're doing it right now, look, as you can see for yourself, with those blue smart marks. So there's John Peters taking it, but to be honest, he's not as close to Alula as I thought he was going to be, having done that short lap. It all bunches up the field, but this is now the final lap of the race. Now let's see what happens with Alula doing the long lap. This is where it's going to be tight, and I don't know whether John Peters is actually going to get the undercut here and come out in front.
I think they've left it too late. I think it's going to be very tight coming in, and it's John Peters going to sneak out in front of them, I think, and leave Alula in his wake there, just impacting that speed and performance and balance. And that's probably cost them a 3rd place finish.
Over the line go Brady then to take victory in this first group stage race of the day here at Lago Maggiore. Brazil are 2nd, bouncing back from the gearbox problem they had here on Friday. They'll be pleased with that. And like you say, look, John Peters has gone through. He's taken Alula, he's taken Katie Munnings, maybe just losing Saunders too much time then, as you said, in the wake earlier on, and Katie unfortunately crosses the line in 4th place. That was a perfect demonstration, wasn't it, of strategy there, and also the importance of track position.